Hello, I'm Dale Sung from the Adelaide Rural Clinical School, and this is a short video tutorial on how to contribute to the Examsoft question bank. So go to www.examsoft.com/Adelaide and then log in using the login button here if you are a university staff member or title holder and you have an A number and password. If you are not staff or title holder of the university, then you need to use this link to log in using the Examsoft ID that you've been sent. Once logged in, you're taken to the welcome page here, and you can see there's icons and there's also these tabs across the top. I'm going to use the tabs across the top to navigate to the questions area. And now you can see a whole heap of questions on the main part of the page, and on the left there's a couple of ways to navigate through these questions. So you can navigate questions by folder or by category. Now, folders are the location that the item is stored. A question can only be located in one folder, and we've set it up so that most staff will have a folder for the questions that they write. Categories, on the other hand, you can tag a question with as many categories as you like. So, for example, we've set up all of these categories for the AMC domains, patient groups and systems. So if we look in, for example, the category child health, you can see there's 81 questions that are tagged child health. If I click on that, it will bring me up any question that's got that tag. And we can see a question here, diabetes type 1. If I then go down and look in, say, endocrine, we've got 18 questions tagged endocrine. You'll see there's that question again. So you can find it by looking in either child health or in endocrine because it's tagged with both of those categories. Okay, so let's create a question. The buttons across the top are the different types of questions you can create: multiple choice, true, false, essay, fill in the blank, hotspot. A hotspot question is like an image which is uploaded and you ask the student to identify a particular part of that image by clicking on it. You can also import questions. So we're going to create a multiple choice question. So clicking on this button, create MC. So it brings up this form here, which is pretty self-explanatory, but we'll go through some of the fields. So firstly, we want to give our question a title. And the title is what appears in the list of questions that we just saw in our question bank. So we're suggesting that you use the course name. So this is human reproductive health that I'm going to write a question for. It's an antenatal question and it's on pregnancy dating. So we're going to go with the course or the discipline area, and then the topic, and then the subtopic. Next, we want to select a folder, and I'm going to put it in my folder, so Dale Sung's folder. So you'll select your own folder where your question is going to be created. Group, we're not going to worry about that, but we use that field if you want to group questions that rely on the same stem or the same case information together. Now we're going to write our actual question text. So this is a pregnancy dating question, so I'm just going to put some question text in there. And you can see across the top you can do some formatting. There's also a spell check. And then we're going to fill in our answer options here. Okay, and then we need to select the correct answer. So we do that by ticking whichever answer is correct over here. So answer B is correct. There's also the ability to lock answers in place. If when you're setting up a test you want to randomize the answers, it will go, okay, we're not going to randomize them for this particular question because someone has manually said do not rearrange them. So if I've clicked the lock button here, June 30th, 2019 will always be option D. And if I lock them all in place, they'll always appear in chronological order. So that would be a good reason why you would lock them in place. Other thing you can do is delete answer options. If there's not 4, you want to delete a choice, and you can also add more choices. Okay, so now we've got our question. Let's look at tagging it. So over here, we click Add or Remove Categories. It will bring up our category tree. And what we're going to do is go through each of these category groups and tag it with the relevant one. So we're going to leave this first one because that's for administrative use, but we're going to go into AMC domains and say this is a clinical practice question. Patient group will be women's health. The systems will be obstetrics and gynecology. Our MBBS program course that it relates to is human reproductive health. The author is, and I don't think I'm on here, so we'll go with Anakani, our fantastic HRH course coordinator. Leave imports, that's administrative. Medical science area, I'll take a stab and guess it's physiology. Skill area, let's say it's in history. And then the year level, so we'll say this one's year 5. And again, these two down here are administrative categories that you don't need to do. So once I've done that, I can, if I just scroll back up again, you'll see all of those categories now appear. If I make a mistake, I can just click the cross and it will disappear, and you can add it again. So I'm going to say done. And now all my categories appear here with the question, so we can see what we've tagged it. Next, let's look at options. So the weighting is just the number of points. We'll generally leave that as 1. Cut score, we use that field for standard setting. And randomized choices, you don't have to tick that. We can do that at the when we construct the exam paper. If your question needs an image, then you can navigate to that file and drag it here. And the next field down is the rationale. This is the reason you are asking the question. So it's the link to the curriculum. So the justification here, and I can actually stretch that out, is use Nagel's rule to calculate a patient's estimated delivery date. And then I put what that rule is as well. Below that, you can see there's an area for internal comments, which again, if I drag it out, I can make it bigger if I want to write more information. And this field will never ever be displayed to students. So this is where you can record notes about a question for other staff to see. It'll be used to keep a record as to why a question might need to be reviewed and why certain changes were made to questions. So that's it. Then you can save the question. So if I scroll back up here and I click the save button. And if you are then completely happy with your question, you can also approve that question, and that means it's ready. You're happy for it to be used in an assessment or reviewed by someone else to be used in an assessment. So now I've saved and approved my question, I can see that these buttons have slightly changed. So if I want to edit this question, like I notice a spelling error or something else more serious, I can just create a new version and keep editing and then save and approve again. Now, down here, there's a history section and your revision history will appear down here at the bottom. So as you make changes, you can see who's made those changes and what changes they were. It also keeps the performance history of the question. So once it has been used in a quiz, you can go back and see how many students got it right and wrong and the point by serials. And this is a list of the assessments that it's been used in, so the assessment history. I'm going to scroll back up. I'm going to go back to my folder. I can see my new question, click back into it if I want to edit it, and all my other questions. Or I can go ahead and create another question. That's the end of this how-to video, and good luck writing your questions.